And I'm going to be recording on the Juvenile Law Center for today. Yes, hello, I love you too. The minority youth face a wide variety of issues in the criminal justice system. The first issue being youth in general only recently obtained a constitutional right to due process. This is important because without the guarantee of due process, minority youth face severe discrimination within the justice system. Additionally, since juvenile courts run differently than regular adult courts, lawyers need to specialize in juvenile courts and make that the focus of their career. This is the same thing that's done with DUIs, car crashes that involve injuries, etc. Additionally, minority youth still face the harsh penalties created in the 1990s, such as life sentencing or the death penalty for capital offenses. These penalties can be seen as overly harsh because the juvenile may not be fully developed mentally and not understand the consequences of their action. Typically, rehabilitation is the main goal of the juvenile courts. The harsh punishments enacted do not aid in the rehabilitation of the youth. Finally, juvenile correctional facilities frequently mirror the adult prisons. They practice solitary confinement, strip searches, chemical and physical restraints. The combination of juvenile facilities mirroring the adult prisons and enforcing harsh penalties results in the minority youth lacking access to aid in reforming their pathways for the rest of their lives. This brings us to an organization that's trying to do something about the issues juveniles face in the criminal justice system. The Juvenile Law Center serves a wide variety of youth who come into contact with the welfare and justice systems. These individuals include, but are not limited to, youth of color, those living in poverty, youth with disabilities, and LGBTQ+ youths. The Juvenile Law Center is nonprofit and runs off of donations from individuals, corporations, and foundations. The Juvenile Law Center advocates for the rights, dignity, equity, and opportunity for youth in the child welfare justice system. The Juvenile Law Center is a unique organization in the sense that they are the first nonprofit public interest law firm for children in the country. They help the youth through litigations, submissions of amicus briefs, policy reform, public education, training, consulting, and various other methods to fight for children who come into contact with the child welfare and justice systems. The majority of the information was readily available on the Juvenile Law Center's website. However, some additional information was found on MacArthur's Foundation Research Network because the Juvenile Law Center's methods are based within the research from MacArthur. So, in conclusion, ultimately, as much as we hate to admit it, our justice system is not as unbiased as we like to believe it is. And that bias and unfairness trickles into the juvenile courts, and some individuals simply draw the short end of the stick. Additionally, it is wonderful to have a group like the Juvenile Law Center based in research because they will leave a longer lasting impression than those based in feelings, so not research. And as the Juvenile Law Center likes to say, when children thrive, communities thrive. Finally, I have a few recommendations for the Juvenile Law Center. My first recommendation is to work with lawforkids.org. Lawforkids.org is a website that provides information about the law that is easily digested by juveniles. The information provided surrounds how the law impacts that individuals and what can happen if the juvenile breaks the law. This organization would be great in combination with the Juvenile Law Center because it would provide a preemptive measure to help juveniles before they break the law, whereas the Juvenile Law Center can currently only help after a crime is committed. Additionally, the Juvenile Law Center could incorporate an anti-incarceration stance because incarceration alone is ineffective at preventing future crime. The Juvenile Law Center already promotes rehabilitation, but I believe explicitly opposing incarceration would be beneficial for the organization. One organization that is already working towards anti-incarceration, especially for juveniles, is the Center on Juvenile and Criminal Justice. And then because research, here's my sources. Thanks for listening.